I'm going to start right in with the sound sample, in case that's what you're here for. Please remember me happily by the rose bush, laughing with bruises on my chin. The time when we counted every black car passing your house beneath the hill, and up until someone caught us in the kitchen with maps, a mountain range, a piggy bank, a vision too removed to mention, and please remember me fondly. We'll leave off there. Okay, yeah, so this is a 1964 Stella tenor guitar. You can find these on eBay from time to time, and I've been watching for a while to find one that was cheap enough for me to take a risk on. So I got this, and the whole bridge was cracked straight through, and sort of gaping open crack. So I pushed that together and glued that with just wood glue, not anything too fancy. And there was some cracking on the side here, which I also glued and clamped, and kept all that clamped, each of those for 24 hours. But with the crack going straight through the wood, it wasn't gonna hold if I put even with the glue, if I put the strings back in. So I installed this trapeze on the bottom, and the strings go right in there, and that holds the tension up against the bridge enough to resonate so that this part isn't vibrating. You can tell that because the sound isn't dampened when touching that. But it's just barely got enough of a break in the angle to do that. When I do this, I can actually, it doesn't dampen the sound much, but I can actually feel the string vibrating. So this fix just barely worked, of doing the trapeze to take the pressure off of the broken saddle. But it works, and it sounds great. And yeah, so I wanted to do this to share how that worked out. So yeah, the tenor guitar, it's got a really thin neck, which I find tough, but it's meant to be an instrument that people who play the tenor banjo can pick up immediately, and it's tuned just like a viola. Is that right? A cello. Cello? Yes, tuned like a cello, with parallel fifths. So yeah, this instrument was popular for a while. When banjo players, people playing the tenor banjo, were switching over to guitars with changing styles of music. It is not popular anymore because nobody is learning tenor banjo in the first place. So, yeah. So the result is that if you can find a cheap old tenor guitar, it'll be really good and pretty affordable. If you try to buy a new one, it'll be really expensive because they're specialty items now. But these vintage ones, they were just pumping them out, and that shows to some extent. All of the detailing on this is just paint. There's nothing else. The binding is just paint. There's no binding. The dots are just paint. There's no inlay. Same thing, everything it's just paint. The wood grain is totally fake. It's just paint. So it's pretty awesome. Now, on the other hand, it's a solid wood instrument. It's solid birch, so it's got a really nice sound, and they were made cheaply and mass produced, but they were made as quality instruments with quality materials. So it's pretty neat. And if you can find an old one of these, there's a good chance it's going to be broken, and there's a good chance the way that it'll be broken is right here, that the bridge will be just cracked in half. So this solution worked for me. It might work for you. I don't know. One thing that was really tough with this, though, was to get enough break. I'm sorry, I should have planned out what I was going to talk about. To get enough of a break over the bridge to get it to sound clearly and resonate and so on. I actually had to take the tailpiece that I got. I just got this thing on Amazon. I had to take it out and bend it using a vise and some pliers, because when I used it as it came, it held the strings up so high that they weren't even touching the saddle at all. So I had to modify this piece to get it to hold the strings low enough to get enough for it to work. So this fix, it barely worked for me, but it worked, and the action is tolerably low too. So Anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to be sure to mention about this fix. If anybody's looking at doing this and you want to ask me questions, ask me questions in the comments.